Hi there folks and welcome to the channel. I am Ian. If you don't know who I am, I do Facebook and Instagram advertising for the real estate industry, for real estate businesses in particular. And in this video I wanted to share something a little bit different and something that I think I would have liked to have found when I first started out, and in fact would like to find today, but I can't. If anybody has any recommendations or know anything on this topic, but let me know. But it's about starting a business, an SMMA, when you have a family, when you're living with family. Now, I don't particularly mean living with parents, or if you live with grandparents or whatever. I mean your own family. So in my case, I am married. I have 2 kids of my own. There are 5 of us in my house, and I'm the only one that provides at the moment anyway. And this topic is something that comes across quite often when I'm speaking to other marketers out there that are just starting out. You know, we just talk and it pops up. And I always get asked certain questions. You know, there's been times where I've come across other marketers that are in a similar situation and they have questions. So I thought I would put it into a video and share it with you guys, because I think it might be insightful and it might give you a little bit of motivation if you're on the fence of whether to start or not because you have a family. So one of the biggest questions I always get about running a family running the business and having a family is time. Like, when do I get time to spend with my kids? So in my case, I have a 1-year-old girl and a 4-year-old boy at the time of making this video. And I think it's very, very important that you try not to suffocate yourself with work and exclude your family from things, which I am going to admit I did in the beginning and actually still do sometimes today. So obviously I try to take most Sundays off, or at least half of the day, and that time is crucial to spend with kids and my wife. But one of the main things I found after starting my business was that, as stupid as this sounds, and I'm just going to be totally real with you guys here, is I struggled to just be around them and not focus on work. I struggled to get out of that mindset of having to do this at work, having to do this, and what if this worked, what if this doesn't work, and, you know, just running through my head constantly these ideas or worries. And I'm just, you know, it's difficult for me to completely clear my mind and just focus on them and just do what they want to do, hang out, play, run around, or whatever, do stuff together. I still struggle with that quite a lot, but I think it's crucial that you spend time with your family, because it's going to come back to you as a favor in terms of support in the long run. So what I like to do is actually have a start and finish time, unless I'm working on something huge which needs to be done. It needs time dedicated to it within the business. But otherwise, try not to work yourself to sleep every single day. Try and work to a certain time, whether it's 5, 6, 7, or 8 p.m. It doesn't really matter. And stop then and just go and be with them. Just be with them. You don't even need to do stuff. Just be with them. Don't be the one that's always working, which is kind of normal in my household at the minute. But it's very important. I think that's probably the best advice I can give on that topic, is just have certain times throughout the day where you just stop and you spend time with your family. And then if you have days off, just take it off and just disconnect totally from your business and focus on them, because your family comes first. Your family will always come first. I am 100% like, you would choose your family over your business any day. I feel, I mean, that's just a normal thing for me to say, but I don't know about everyone else, but I would choose my family over my business any day of the week. It's like, it's not even something that would process in my mind. It's just there. Moving on to the next point that I get asked every now and then in regards to having a family and running an SMMA is working from home with kids. Like, how do I work from home when I've got two crazy ass kids running around the house and then my wife screaming after them. So this is kind of difficult, especially during the past couple of months that we've had in quarantine. They've been here 24/7 every day. Schools are cancelled, and it can be very difficult for many different reasons. One of them is that I work with music with my headphones in, and it helps me concentrate. But when you have screaming or crying in the background, I get distracted very, very quickly, and it annoys me. It annoys me in the sense that I can't focus. Not that they annoy me, but it annoys me that I can't focus and do what I need to do. So when you're working from home and you have kids, I try to put myself somewhere where they're not going to distract me so much, maybe where I'm not going to hear it so much, because if you have a 4-year-old child, there is not a silent moment in a day. And then the baby comes along too, and it's like, it multiplies, and it's just going to get worse and worse. And that's something you have to accept. There's nothing you can do about it. You did the same thing when you were 4 years old. I mean, I'm pretty sure you did the exact same thing. But what you need to do is kind of limit how it can affect you by taking decisions yourself. So lock yourself away in a specific part of the house throughout the day that is not so affected by the noise of, kids playing or the TV or whatever. But apart from just trying to actually focus and get stuff done, another thing that's been affected, I have actually been affected by this, is the sales calls. So if your outreach is making cold calls every day, or it comes to the point where you have a meeting or you're just catching up with a client or whatever, you need to make one of these calls, it's very difficult to sit down with your family and say to them, listen, I have a call in 15 minutes and I need you to shut up. Like this, it's very, very difficult. It has gotten into routine now that, when they say Papa's on a call, it's like, okay, we need to calm down, and I'm going to try and make as less noise as possible. But it still happens every now and then. And I have had it where I've been on calls and you can hear the kids in the background and I've had to apologize, but we're only human and it's going to happen every now and then. People understand that when you work from home and have kids, these kind of things happen every now and then. But I always try to take the call in the complete opposite end of the house, and even sometimes not even at home. Like, I've made calls in my mother's house because I know that the kids are going to be here, and it's just easier for me to make the call there because it's quieter and I can focus a lot better. All in all, working from home with kids is a distraction that you need to accept, and it's a distraction that you need to try and put yourself on top of. It's something that you need to train yourself to not get distracted by. It can be very, very difficult, and I recommend just trying to avoid it in the first place. But I have always worked from home, and I've always been around the kids when working, and I've kind of learned to just kind of zone out and focus on what I need to do. But every now and then, we're all human, and there's going to be days where it doesn't happen and the kids get in the way of business. Another one that I wanted to throw out there, another topic is, which I kind of touched on a little bit before, is the support. So when starting out, it's normal for entrepreneurs, especially young people that are starting up a business, to get support from their family. Everybody knows that the family can be actually like one of the most demotivating points in your business, because they're going to tell you, like, get a real job, why are you doing this, just do this, or it's not going to work out, I think maybe it's time you started looking into other options, and things like this. You've probably all heard it before, just like I did. But my wife, for example, in this case, supports me 100 billion%, and I could not be more grateful for that support, because I would not be where I am if it was not for her. So I started the business just before my daughter was born, and I actually wasn't making an income when I started. So I literally started from zero, and it was not a very wise decision, I feel, but at the same time, I'm kind of grateful it happened, because it taught me a lot, like a lot. And having a family there's no bigger motivation than having to put food on the table for your family. That is the number one thing that will push you to work 25 hours a day. Like seriously, that was the biggest thing for me. And it did get to a point where I was working at it so much for so long and not getting results, where it ran through my mind. I was like, shit, I mean, I think I need to stop. I think I need to go to the first bar I find and just get a job, because it's not happening. It's not happening. And I was worried sick. I couldn't sleep. I had anxiety, apparently. And things weren't going so well. That, pushing through that is the hardest part. And the support from my wife and from other members of my family is what kept me going 100%. Like, I would not be doing this if it was not for my wife. So, and let me tell you, she wasn't always like that from the very beginning. From the very beginning, it was just like, okay, so here's another thing we're going to try. Let's just see how it goes, blah, blah, blah. And it didn't really catch on until later, when I was a little more developed personally. And I think what happened was that my motivation rubbed off on her a little bit, so she was kind of motivated. And then the days where my motivation dropped, she was still there and told me to keep going. And it kind of got like, she's the kind of person that was a little bit aggressive about, like, why would you stop now? She's like, just fucking carry on, excuse the language. Just carry on and do what you're doing. You need to do this. We need to eat. And I was like, oh my God, yes. I was like, you're right, let's go. And that's kind of how it happened over the time, and it still happens today. But I mean, in general, running an SMMA with a family can be difficult, but even people that don't have a family have their own challenges. It's like nobody has it worse, nobody has it easier, and I just think that you need to adapt and carry on with the way that you can. If you have older family members, like, they might be able to help you out in certain aspects of the business. They'll certainly be able to help you out with keeping quiet in the house, which, you know, I would love recently. I mean, it has seriously been crazy. This quarantine the past few months has been absolutely manic in my house, and I've still been able to run the business. I've still been able to make sales call, and I still got new clients, so it's not impossible. And subconsciously, you might be thinking that having a family is going to stop you, and it's going to be the excuse you use to kind of not do your job, but that is exactly what it is. It's just an excuse. Millions of people have started a business with a family, a home business. God, it's like, I used to work in sales, cold calling over the phone every day, like 100 calls a day, and I was sat in my living room with the family here and still doing it, and still running it. So it's not impossible. Just keep going. But when you make it, when you start making a living, that you can put food on the table, maybe even save a little bit and pay all your bills, there is no better feeling of pride. You are able to maintain your family because of what you do, and you started with nothing but an idea and motivation and a couple of books or whatever. There is no better feeling than knowing that you've done that, and it will push you to do more, and it will get better and better. So, I mean, if there's any other topics that you would like to discuss with me about having a family and starting a digital marketing business or any kind of online business, please reach out to me on Instagram. I'd be more than happy to help. I must confess that I do not talk about this topic often. I rarely share anything that has anything to do with my family on social media. In fact, I probably wouldn't even be on social media if it wasn't for business. But I'm happy to talk to people about it that have issues or are struggling with it. Because I've done it. I've struggled. I've beat the struggle. I say I've beat the struggle. We struggle every day, but you get my point. You know, I'm not making money anymore. So I've got an income. I'm supporting my family. I'm the only one that works, and I can do it. I can do it. I'm 25, married, 2 kids of my own. It's crazy. It's not impossible. Don't let it get in the way. Guys, I seriously hope that this video helped out. I hope it wasn't kind of depressing. really think it's a topic that is not talked about at all here on YouTube, and I wanted to get the message across and share a little bit of my experience. Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. As I said, get in touch with any questions. Here's my Instagram, and please, please, please have a wonderful day. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.
Let's go.